Hi, guys. Welcome in.
Hello.
Here we are doing another podcast. I'm so excited. This is what, number 5 already?
It
And we've only
is,
been up
right?
and running, what, 2 weeks? So we're doing great. We're trying to stick to a schedule of Mondays and Wednesdays when all possible. So today's guest is Connie Grob. Hi, Connie. You
Hi,
look beautiful
Tracie.
living out
Thank
there
you.
in your
Thank you.
little ranch style house.
Yes, my Ponderosa.
There you go. And of course, everybody knows my co-host, Jew Helena Conrad.
Hi,
Say
everyone.
hi, Jew. I'm Tracie. Everybody knows me, so we don't need to go there, right? Um, so today's guest, and I really would like, is there a way for us to move Connie to the big screen? Because it's showing me in the big screen. Is that just because I'm the one talking?
Yeah, I see you guys equal, and I'm off to the side, so I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't want you on the side. I want you to be in the big picture. But I don't know how to fix that. Anybody else know how to fix that?
No, no.
All
Well,
right.
I see
Well,
myself
maybe,
just small as well on the top. So I don't know.
well, I'll do some research tonight. So for the next interview, because Connie's going to come back many times. She's going to be a more than once interviewee. But yeah,
The bad penny.
right. No, like a good penny, a heads
Okay.
up penny. Um,
Okay.
But yeah, we're just learning how to use this platform. And in the future, once we get monetized, get a little bit of money coming in to support the channel, we'll be probably doing it in a bigger platform and paying for a subscription so that we can make it more professional looking. But Connie, I am so excited to interview you. I feel like mama, like the mama bear, because I just totally had this vision of the two of you together. The moment I met Connie, I just had this vision. I'm like, she has to meet you. She just has to. So we'll get into that. I'm not going to give away your secrets at the moment.
Just you talking about that, I want to cry. I really do.
Aw,
Oh,
it is so beautiful because I've got goosebumps. I knew. I
yeah.
mean, I am a psychic medium, so I guess knowing is what I do. But I knew the moment I did your first reading with you, Connie, I knew. I was like, these two women are like a match made in heaven when it comes to this vision they have for the future. And I thought, I don't know if I didn't know if the two of you would get along or if it would even become a thing. But I'm so grateful that spirit placed that thought in my head. So we're going to go ahead and we'll disclose that a little in the future of the podcast here. Right now, Connie, if you could just introduce yourself and tell us about your journey. We kind of like to know, you know, how you grew up. When did you realize you had gifts? Um, how did you meet me? How did you meet Jude? Just whatever you feel like sharing with us. We would love to hear your story. We'll just sit back quietly unless we feel like we need to ask a question or interject somehow.
Okay. Well, I think to start off with is what I resonated with you, Tracie. I saw you on Rich Lopes. He did an interview of you, and I resonated with you deeply because of your background, your Christian background. And I was brought up a Jehovah's Witness. My father was an elder, so it was, very much the center of our lives. So being someone that felt a little different than the average bear, I always felt connected to nature, to the animal world. I've always loved mystical fairies and Tinkerbell and magic. So that was always kind of who I was as a little girl. And it was very opposite of I guess for lack of a better word, the dogmatic
Exactly.
lifestyle that I was brought up in. And as you dealt with, we were told that any gifts that we had were evil.
Right. Demonized.
Demonized. Yes, it was demonized. So I just buried it all. I just kind of put it all under the carpet and just buried it and did what I had to do and was the dutiful elder's daughter. And I ended up, when I was about 13, I started getting a lot of health issues. I was very sick. I had high blood pressure, kidney disease. I was in the hospital more than I was not. And now I know it was my body just fighting. My body was struggling to let me know that I was suffocating. I
Right.
was burying myself, who I truly was, to be accepted in this box,
Right.
the religious box that I was brought up in. And it was difficult. I was actually thinking today, when you look back on your journey, in preparation for talking about it, at times you look at it and it's like, wow, how did I do that? But then there's other times you look at it and it's like, I felt completely carried from underneath. I don't feel I did anything myself. I always felt supported. So that faith, that internal faith, was, I think, that was above and beyond the religious
Right.
indoctrination. It was a personal thing I felt. I always felt there was a reason. I'm here for a reason. What's this reason? We're all here for a reason. I never could accept that it was just the mundane, go to work, pay the bills. That never resonated with me, even very young. It's like, there's a reason we're here. And
Right.
my love was always animals.
Right.
Yep. And my nickname was Ellie Mae Clampett. And you guys do. I don't know if you remember the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, we call my son Jethro.
Perfect. Well, I was Ellie Mae. So I was always bringing home all the strays, and I just absolutely loved animals. And they were my safe place. That's really where I went. That's where I felt the most comfortable. And I can read them. I can feel them. I feel what they feel. I'm an empath, so I feel. And that's my dog right now, letting me know I'm right here, Mom.
Right. Right.
Um, so I'm digressing here. I'm like Tracie. It's that shiny thing. I go like
Right. I
something,
get
and then I
distracted
forget
easy.
where I am. Okay. But anyway, fast forward. I turned 50. Okay, so I was working. I was in a professional industry for years. I supported my daughter, single mom, had surgeries, got through the physical health issues, turned 50, and said, okay, it's time. Left my job and started massaging horses.
Yay.
And took Reiki. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I took, yeah, I took an animal communication course so that I could consolidate that, really be able to focus on the communication. And it is so heart centered. It's, finding that heart space and connecting heart to heart with the animal. The first the first creature I ever connected with through animal communication officially was a stink bug.
Oh my God.
And I love them to this day. No one's
Oh,
allowed to kill stink bugs in my
they
presence.
look like little aliens, don't
They're
they?
like little armored little tanks. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Um, so I started massaging horses. I actually adopted two retired polo ponies at the age of 40. So that was when I got into the horse business, so to speak. One of my horses broke her leg. I had to put her down. So I had one horse which you can't do their herd animals. So I knew I had to get her herd mate, reached out to a rescue, and the rescue then I ended up rescuing another horse. I'm losing my voice. I apologize. I just had surgery on my neck, so my voice comes and goes.
We can hear you fine.
You can, okay. So when I lost my horse, that just like really shifted something in me. And I reached out to the rescue. We started talking, and I got that burning desire to make a difference. So I started rescuing horses, my husband and I ourselves. And that's fast forward three farms later, how we ended up being where we are now, which is a 35-acre farm in Montgomery County. It's in the Mohawk Valley, which Jew and I have talked about extensively. There's tons and tons Indian energy on
For
the land.
those of us who are like stunted in geography, what state is that?
New York, upstate New York.
Upstate New York. Wow, you're not even far from me. I'm telling you,
No,
I'm coming.
I know, I know. So the horses really are what opened up the journey, where I started getting into. I wanted to rescue, I wanted to make a difference for these horses. I started doing the equine massage, did the Reiki, the animal communication, and it all just kind of started to make sense. Okay, this just kind of that snowball effect. And then when we got this farm, we had 9 horses at the time. We got up to 9 horses, and I knew that I wanted to do something more. I wanted to do something for people. I needed to do something here to heal, other than just four-leggeds. I've always been very, very comfortable and madly in love with four-leggeds. Now it shifted, and it's like, what can I do for humankind? And the horses, they're so amazing with the gift that they can give in a therapeutic environment with people.
Right.
Um, by working at a couple of rescues and helping facilitate programs and watching these horses naturally just hold space, they mirror what the client is dealing with. The client comes into the space of the horse, and the horse just mirrors back whatever it is that client is dealing with, the shadow work, so
Right.
so to speak. And it's just fascinating. I've watched it, I've been a part of it, and it still amazes me the gift that these creatures, these magnificent creatures, offer to to humans.
So
What they
is it hard on the animal? Like let's say for instance, you put a person or a child that's been sexually molested or abused. You say the animal mirrors back. How would that look?
Okay, I'll give you an example. I did a session myself with a friend who, the modality that we were doing was called a gala. So you have a certified mental health professional, and then you would have an Agala certified equine professional that was there to make sure that everything was safe, read the horse, and just you have to know horse behavior in
Right.
order to kind of figure and navigate with the client and the mental health professional. So I wanted to actually have a session done myself so I could just really understand it all. I've never been one that said, oh yeah, I get it, just because you say that's how it works. I need to figure it out. I want to know why it
Right.
works. So we ended up we did a session. I was having trouble with my daughter. My daughter and I have had a very difficult relationship. We've been estranged at different times, and this was one of those times. And the horses, all of a sudden I was watching and I had to name which horse was who. All right, that horse is me, that horse is my daughter, and then who's this horse? Well, those are my friends. And then we were just watching the horses move around. And basically the horse, one that was my daughter, stood off in the distance and watched me and my friends all together, that herd. And she felt she was totally off on her own.
Right.
All right. So just by the horse doing that, I was like, oh my God, that's my daughter feeling pushed aside or cast out, not
Right.
welcome in,
Excluded from your circle,
excluded
right?
from my circle. I didn't know I was doing that. I had no idea. And the horses, just by their movements, and it's like it's energy. It's telepathic.
Right.
It just all fell into place. And then with the mental health professional and the Agala certified professional to help, you navigate it, it was so clear
Mm.
what the horses were saying. It's beyond explaining, other than that's the best I can do.
Well,
If that makes any sense.
that's pretty good, actually. It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
I can almost see it, it's almost like reading tarot cards, only you're using the animals as the the divinator.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And someone who knows tarot can read the energy of the tarot, and somebody who knows horses can read the energy of the horses.
Exactly.
There you
Exactly. Yep. So seeing all of that, I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to do this here. Well, I got sick again. We
go.
went through all the years of not feeling well as a teenager. And I did, came together for about 10, 15 years where I was fairly healthy. And I hit the wall again. I had some issues. I had, sorry, Rex, compressed discs in my neck. And which in and of itself doesn't seem like it's that bad. But what happened is I wasn't getting enough spinal fluid to my brain.
Mm.
So I actually was dealing with a lot of chemical imbalances. I actually was bipolar.
Right.
I had a really hard time functioning. It was during COVID, during the lockdowns, during all the animosity. And then, I was dealing with bipolar on top of it from the health issues. I did have surgery. And the first surgery failed. I went back in for the second surgery, and I crashed on the table.
Mm.
I went into AFib and I crashed. And I remember when I was being wheeled into the operating room, I knew that this was not going to end the same way the first surgery did. I knew I was not going to come out the same as I went in. It
Right.
was
Uh-oh, we lost her.
Oh, what happened?
Well, can you message her on your phone? Tell her to come back into the call. She probably bumped it. I saw her move.
Oh, she comes.
got it. Are we
Yeah,
back?
you're back.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, where was I? Shiny things.
So you had your second surgery and you had a near-death experience,
Yes,
which
exactly.
is really kind of cool because I've noticed in my practice working with people who are on an ascension journey, a lot of them have had near-death experiences, which brings in a whole different question. I've done some research on what they call walk-ins, which we probably won't address today, but we could have a future maybe roundtable interview with people who are light workers that resonate with having a near-death experience and coming back feeling different, changed.
Yes. And I came back feeling different and changed, but in a negative way. When I came out of the surgery, um, I my passion. I had this passion. I'm going to do this on this property. I wanted to work with women first. I wanted to work with survivors of, domestic violence, women, the cancer survivors. I'm very, very drawn to women and helping empower our sisters.
Right?
Um,
Rise of the divine feminine.
yes, yes. So when I came out of the second surgery, nothing was there. My passion was completely gone. I I just felt depleted. I didn't feel that I had anything to offer. Just it was gone. And I saw you on Rich. You were interviewed with Rich, and I saw you, and I reached out to you, and we connected. And Tracie told me when she got done working with me that she had to go take a shower because I had so much stuff attached to me.
Right?
Well, lo and behold, I'm a channeler. I did know that, but I didn't realize I had things that were still attached to me. I didn't. I had no filter. I would be working with a horse that was injured, and I would take on that pain from the horse. I would go to walk away, and I would drag a leg behind me
Right?
because I could feel what the horse felt, um, which is fine, but I wasn't then letting it go. I
Right.
wasn't
Holding
pushing
on to
through
it,
it.
like you
I
were
was
owning it.
I was holding on to it. And then it started happening with energies. And I started having, um, I had a little girl attached to me one time that had died in a car accident. Didn't know it. She was wandering around a barn that I worked at. Everybody heard her and felt her. Well, she ended up attaching to me. We discovered what was going on, and through one of my mentors and we were able to help her cross over, and she was able to go be with her parents.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful.
she just kind of was like, "Oh, here you are. Let me just kind of hang on to you." I guess my energy drew her to me. But again, I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware of what was going on. It was like I was an open beacon. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
come
An
on
empty
in.
vessel.
Yes,
Empty vessel.
yes. So when I talked with you and we worked together, Tracie gave me homework that I needed to start purging what wasn't mine,
Right.
and then I needed to start protecting my energy. And I did. I started, doing exactly what she had told me. And all of a sudden, my passion started coming back.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, wow. I can do this. I really feel like I can do this. Then she told me to get in touch with Jew. And the minute Jew and I met on the Facebook, on the phone, we were just like, do, 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 do.
Yeah, it
We
just
just had
clicked, right? It was.
so much to share with each other,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
So at this point, let me interject just a little bit. So when we did our session together, we've done 2 sessions together. The first session we did, I'm not sure if that's when I talked to you about Jew. I think it was the second
It
session
was
where,
second.
yeah, where you came back and you told me I've been doing my homework. I've been learning how to protect my energy. I've been able to, what I really was hoping for you to learn was the difference between you and else, other,
Yes.
energetically, so that when you felt not you, then you knew you were other. And then, you know, you could put up some healthy boundaries around that. So you come back, you were all excited, telling me how you were feeling better and you were getting your drive back and you'd been doing your homework. And I remember you talking to me again about your dream, your mission, your ideas. And I don't remember exactly what you said, but you said something to the effect that you just felt stuck. Like there was something missing, like you didn't know how to take it from there to there.
Yes.
And you'd been waiting for some kind of a sign or a signal or something to change so that you could kind of level up or take it to that next
Yes.
vision that you had. And all of a sudden it just clicked because you and I have been friends for, I don't know, what, 2, 3 years now, maybe more. I mean, time's been going so
Oh, yeah.
fast, I don't even know.
Right.
Right? At least, I would
2
say
years
three
at least.
years. I
I
think
would
at
say
least
it's
3 years.
closer to 3 now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and Ju has told me, I don't know how many times, about her vision that, you know, she lives in Switzerland and the government there is kind of, you know, different. Let's just be nice at the moment. But she's been waiting for mandates to lift so that she could come to the States because she wanted to actualize her dream of building a healing center for children who have been child trafficked, abused, um, you know, just there's so many things like that go through my mind I don't even want to look at when I think of that. But um, you know, there's a lot of children that haven't had opportunities in their life to become even human like. You know, they were created with purpose and it wasn't a good one. And Ju talked to me in length about her vision of how, you know, she wanted to create a healing center to help integrate those children back into society, to get them to where they could function, you know, with society. And so just this little light bulb went off in my head. And I thought, you know, these two share a very similar purpose and mission. Not exact, but very similar. And I thought, what if I introduced them and the two of them could collaborate like yin and yang? Like, you know, Connie, you have the property, you have the training, you have everything.
The key was I always told you I want a farm. I want a farm. I want animals. I want nature be part of this healing, and I think that was probably, you know, that switch for
Yeah,
you. It's like, oh, she's got a farm, right? And I got
right.
all these ideas in my head.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I really thought like the yin and yang, like whatever Connie was searching for that she wasn't able to grasp, maybe Ju could bring that missing link, that missing piece, and the two of them collaborating together could bring a whole, you know? Like
Yeah.
what you didn't have, Ju, was you didn't have the property, you didn't have the means, right? And what Connie didn't have was the conceptualization, the bigger picture, the big picture person, the person that could see it from um, a way to actually manifest it, right? To make it ground it, to ground it.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm channeling. I have to listen to my higher self. I'm like, okay, give me words for this, will
What's
you?
that word? Right.
What's the word? Let's go through that data bank there. And so, yeah, I was so excited. And I have to tell you, for at least, I want to say at least 6 months, Spirit had been channeling. Whenever I do my automatic writing channelings for my full moon, new moon, I kept getting, on a side note, it wasn't meant to share, but Spirit kept saying, you know, you need to start this podcast. And I'm like, no, I don't like being seen on camera. I don't like, uh, I don't have a fear of failure. I have a fear of success. I'm like, holy crap, I got so much going on in my life. If this takes off and does really well, that's one more responsibility, one more thing I got to do. And they kind of pushed me to open the Patreon for twins, for twin flames. And I didn't want to do that either, but I did it and it took off. So now I've got my YouTube to balance. I've got my Patreon to balance. And now we've got another YouTube channel for this platform. And I was pushed by Spirit to create this interview podcast. And I think the reason why I finally bit it off and said I can do this is because I needed, Connie, what are you doing? She keeps leaving.
Yeah.
I feel so abandoned.
Sorry, the phone keeps ringing. I don't know how to get it to stop. Well, no, we got
It's okay.
airplane mode, but then I lost.
Oh, yeah, you can't do
So,
that. You
yeah.
need the Wi-Fi. Anyhow, I just didn't want to do it by myself. And then, so when I told you about you and I connected you guys, I started to talk to her about this podcast and this interview process. And she's like, I'd love to do it. Let's do it. Let's do it together. And so isn't it ironic how Spirit brought the three of us and many others too, because I have other people that I want to interview that Spirit has brought into my life through a lot of them, most of them through Rich Lop, which is something I channeled a long time ago too. They didn't name him. They said a young man, because I was like, well, how am I going to find these people, right? I was told by Spirit I had this calling to work with 3 waves of light workers, star seeds, and twin flames. And I'm like, well, how am I going to find these people? I live in a little rural town of, Ohio. And I didn't have a platform. I didn't have a name. I didn't have much of a practice. I had a little bit of a practice. And they told me a young man would bring them. They said, you don't have to go looking for them. You don't have to create anything. We'll drive them right to you. And so usually in my sessions, the first thing I say is, how'd you find me?
Yeah.
So I'm just so proud. I feel like a proud mama.
You should.
Like the two of you are going to give birth to something, and I'm going to be the godmother.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
I was going to say we have to share with everyone the house.
that Jew wants to buy.
Yes. The Tesla house.
Okay. So we'll let you guys talk about that because I just found out about that today, and I might buy one of my own.
Yeah, that's interesting. So we were talking about, living situation, and obviously, Connie is in a relationship, and the house is limited, and like what we're gonna do, right? And we were talking about different, options. There would be, a van or a truck, RV, something like that, starting with, and then eventually, building another, cabin or something like that. So you just went through these options, right? And one morning I get up, open up my computer, look at YouTube, and I say, tiny Tesla house. I was like, what's this? I need to open this up. So I watched it, and it's brilliant. It's like this tiny house, everything in it, and it's self-sustainable. It costs only $15,000, and it's built in a day. Imagine.
Wow.
And it's really pretty, right?
It is. And the timing was just impeccable. We were just talking about, I have a small house. I have 2 bedrooms. And I have a daughter, a grandson, a granddaughter, and a great-granddaughter that they come and stay with me a lot. And I'm like, boy, Jude, it's going to be crowded. But I feel like there's something out there. We just have to, put our heads together and I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Exactly.
And the next morning, I look at my phone and here she sends me this tiny house for $15,000. And I'm like, well, I know where we're going to be putting one of those.
Right.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And so, I want you guys, so when we get to the end of the podcast, we still got plenty to talk about, but when we get to the end and I upload it, I want to put a PayPal me link. In case there are other light workers out there that would like to contribute, whether they want to donate money so that you can buy this Tesla tiny house, or if they want to possibly get a hold of you once the dream becomes grounded and up and running, maybe they would want to volunteer a week of their time to come in and help, you know, the children, help the horses. Maybe they've got equine experience, or maybe they're a medium in a channel, or an animal communicator, and they just want to be part of your vision and volunteer in some way, shape, or form in order to help, because I know, you know, part of my awakening was the whole, you got to be very careful what you talk about, but we'll say pizza blank, okay? It was part of my awakening. It was part of the dark rabbit holes that I fell down, you know, along with many others. And I became enraged. I became I felt like I needed to do something. I need to do something. This is just, no, this can't happen, right? And it was part of my awakening, and I fell down many rabbit holes. A lot of were conspiracy theories, and some very valid, some maybe not so much. But the fact that I do believe this is a real thing, I believe it's been going on. I believe it's something that needs to be talked about. Maybe we can do a future video on that and upload it to Rumble or Telegram, or one of the platforms that won't, you know, deplatform you for talking about such topics. But I'd like to be part of it. I don't know, you know, I'm not real financially abundant, but I'm gonna be. Spirit keeps telling me, Tracie, you're gonna be rich in this lifetime. And I'm like, well, I have to get past that dogma that I was raised with. It's a real stumbling block for me because, you know, in religion, it's God first, others second, yourself last. And we're really kind of programmed to believe that anybody who has money is a bad person. And so for me, you know, I always want to give, but I never want to receive, because receiving to me had a negative energy around it. I've been working on that. And so, you know, my spirit guides keep telling me, you need money to do your mission work. I'm supposed to be traveling and teaching on stages. Like, I'm supposed to be doing workshops, and I don't know. I know, but I don't know. Like, the details, I don't know, but I do know the big picture. And so I would like to get involved, even if I came down for a week's vacation and just, you know, worked with. I am an animal communicator. For me, it's not every animal. It's only certain animals that are wanting to communicate, you know. But I can't tell you how many mediumship readings I've done where they want to talk to grandpa, but their dog or cat comes through instead, right? And I also did rescue for parrots, for hookbills, avians, and I had so many of them that I rescued that were just so broken. They were pluckers. They were nervous, and they'd been tossed around from family to family, and they never felt at home in smoking atmospheres, and, you know, toxic fumes in the house and whatnot. And so, you know, I too am an animal communicator with those animals, especially those that are reaching out to a channeler or a medium, wanting to be healed. And so I don't know, maybe I could, you know, communicate with the horses, depending on the horses, I suppose. And if not, I can absolutely communicate with the children, especially if there are those that are nonverbal because of the abuse that they've been through. So I think I could come in and help too. So I'm looking forward to that. But if there's anybody that wants to contribute in any way, shape, or form, we'll make sure they have a link to contact you, an email. Connie doesn't really offer any services at this time. She's in the process of building this business and this dream, her and Jew. And so those services will be offered in the future. But there will be a PayPal me link if anybody would like to contribute monetarily to the creation of your vision, or if they want to contact you to donate horse feed, or, you know, anything that's written on their heart, because spirit will write things on people's hearts, you know.
Exactly.
And so whatever if nothing, then just love and support, you know, maybe send some prayers your way or whatever, you know, let's just leave that open to spirit, just like spirit divinely guided you to the tiny house. You got to love algorithms, because algorithms are artificial intelligence and they are ruled by the law of attraction, right? They're built and founded on law of attraction principles. You know, what you think about, you bring about. What you show or what you feed energy to online in the ethers, the universe will bring to you via
Absolutely.
artificial intelligence. So,
I
you know,
always
it's real.
I always get that. What I can think something, I can think of something, and for sure it shows up on my feed,
Right,
like within seconds, really.
right.
And it's like, oh,
Yeah, you ask for something and spirit will bring it to you,
it's within
especially on my
seconds comes
journey
up.
for guidance. You know, I didn't have a guru. I didn't hire anybody. I didn't do readings with anybody. My awakening was so abrupt. It was like I got hit upside the head with a bowling ball. And I was pushed on that roller coaster ride and spirit just brought it. It was like, boom, here it is. Boom, here it is. Boom, here it is.
Yeah.
Back, past life recall. It was like the veil got ripped and I was shoved through to the other side. And so it was very abrupt for me. And so I just think that it would be such a beautiful thing to be a part of this. So, we've got around 20 minutes left. If you guys want to talk about your vision, talk anything, talk about anything. You can talk about anything.
So after we were talking, we were just exchanging a lot now recently, since we connected, right? We try to speak like at least every second day, every other day, or there's even days we speak every day with each other, but it starts evolving, right? So I had this idea with children, and Connie is very connected to women, and so we were thinking about starting it off as in, like, supporting single mothers who
Right.
have been in an abusive relationship, and the child is always damaged, right? Let's be honest. It's wounded, and so we want to help start off with that and then extend it at some point. But I think that is really, we can focus on, it's not too big, and we can see, how it works, how we get on, and how it works with the animals, and then, but in the future, I mean, my vision is big, right? I want centers opening up around the globe, basically.
Right.
So that is what my higher self told me, is like, it's always been America. Funny enough, I was always told I'm gonna start it off in America, but eventually it's gonna go global, right?
Yeah.
And also the children from the trafficking. I mean, right now they're taken. So I've seen people talk about it, but I was, given that by my spirit higher self as well. These are taken off earth right now and being healed, because it is so severe that they could not heal them on earth because of the density. So they're actually off earth somewhere else right now, and they are planning to bring them back and integrate them. So that's not going to happen, in the near future. And I think that gives us time as well, but eventually it's really integrate them again, and find them. You won't find all the parents anymore. You can't bring them back to all of them to the biological parents. So it'll be about finding, new homes for them, loving families, but that's down the road, right?
Right.
So
Well, wouldn't it be
how?
wonderful?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if because we never know, once you create content and put it on platforms, and we are currently in Telegram, which I haven't linked. I need to link that. I think I forgot to link that in the previous podcast we did, but I'll get on that. Right now I'm recording my zodiacs. I have 24 hours of recording to do. But I will link our Telegram, our Rumble, and our BitChute account. Ju intends, I don't know if she's done it yet, but she intends to promote the podcast through Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram.
Yeah.
And we already have a YouTube group. However, when you're dealing with, or not YouTube, Facebook, we have a Facebook group, which will be linked beneath the podcast here. But wouldn't it be wonderful if there are this? So, you know, the whole intention behind these podcasts is there are light workers already incarnated, awakened, and being given visions for their purpose. And yet they're all over the globe. Some are in pharmaceuticals. Some of them are in government positions. Some of them are in state representatives or state places. Some of them are in education, but they have a new vision. They're light workers. They're here to rebuild the grid, because the grid that we have currently is coming down. And so Spirit kept saying, you know, if you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. And I'm not the only person. We aren't the only people who have been given this directive, right? I think of it like ground crew. We're ground crew. And so there are other light workers who have created podcasts, who have created connections, directories, ways for light workers to connect with one another. But wouldn't it be wonderful if there were other light workers out there that have the exact same vision, the exact same mission, the exact same purpose as you, but maybe one's over in Germany and one's over here in East Africa and one's whatever. And somehow, some way they find this podcast with divine timing, that artificial intelligence, you know, is used by source to direct them right to this particular podcast. And they're like, I just won the lottery, or I inherited money and I don't know what to do with it, or I have a farm, I have animals, I have means, or maybe I have something but I don't have this, and I don't know. I mean, this is totally up to source. Source will take from this whatever is necessary, and I do believe your vision will be realized. And
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, so I'm excited, and I'm going to quit talking now because I always talk way too much. Connie, why don't you tell us something?
You had asked a question about the horses, and if doing this type of work, if it affected them.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to address that. They naturally, they just release it. If you think, you know, there's so much I could say.
Well,
With,
that's why you found them, because they're you,
yeah,
right? That's what you needed to learn to do.
yep,
And
yep,
watching those animals could teach you a lot about how to do that.
exactly, exactly. So when they take that energy and they help process it, they're just going to put that right back down through. They ground every day. You know, I'm a firm believer. I don't shoe my horses. I want that bare foot of that horse on the ground. I want them to feel Gaia, that, you know, they need that energy flow. So that they're just they're natural at that state of being present and grounding, which is why they do such a brilliant job. So
That's beautiful.
yeah. So I have one horse here, Francois. He's my shaman.
Friends.
Francois is a German warm blood named Francois. So he's a little bit confused whether he's German or French, but he's beautiful. He's a beautiful horse, and he's the shaman. He holds all the energy for the herd. And being in rescue, we don't always have a happy ending. We've had to put horses down on the property that we weren't able to bring, back, or, we gave them as much as we could for a short period of time, but then it was time for them to cross over. And he holds on to.
Mm.
That's when I go out, and I have a dear friend that's a Cherokee Indian, and we have to go out and we help him process that, because he's just so incredibly loving. His
Right.
sense is
Well,
love.
that's his children, his tribe.
Yeah, he just, around children, he just, he's a big boy. He's 17 hands. So I don't
Wow.
know if you know anything about horses. A Clydesdale's 18 hands.
Oh, so
Okay.
he's a big boy.
Well, he's a big boy, and he's a gentle giant. And he has no problem. He'll come wrap his head right around a child and pull him in.
Oh,
And it's amazing. It's just amazing. It
yeah.
really is. So I just wanted to share that they give, and they release it. And yeah, it's beautiful.
That's beautiful. It is very beautiful. So
Yeah.
how far away are you from
I'm Albany.
your
Does
what?
Albany ring a bell? Albany, the capital of
Oh,
New
okay.
York. I'm
All right.
about 40 minutes west of Albany.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're
I'm,
like between New York City and Pennsylvania.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And actually, we are in between the Catskill and the Adirondack Mountains. So if you know anything about Lake George and the Adirondacks, we're just below the Adirondacks. It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I haven't been that far. Um, but about an hour and a half outside of Pennsylvania line is about as far as I've gone into New York State. We do occasionally vacation at the Cook's Forest, which is part of the Allegheny Mountains.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And of course, so I'm fourth generation psychic medium, and my great, 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 great aunt was one of the founders of the Lilydale Assembly, which is in, I always forget the name of the town, but it's Lilydale, New York. But it's near, I can do a quick search here, but anyhow, that's as far as I've been. So
Mhm.
I haven't been too far into New York State. But I'm coming as soon as
Yes, you.
Tuesday. I'm
You
telling you, you
have
can't keep me
to.
away, guys. You better. I don't care if I have to sleep on the ground outside with the stars. I am coming
With the coyotes.
with the coyotes. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll love me. They'll come
Yes, they
cuddle up with
will.
me.
Yes, they will.
I'm very divinely protected.
Uh, um, well, we were talking earlier too, about the property. The land is in the Mohawk Valley, and we're on top of a ridge, and then there's another ridge above us. And I found this out just recently, that this was the gathering place for all different tribes that were the eastern tribes, the Iroquois, the Mohawk, Seneca. They would come here, and this is where they would gather, and they would have
How beautiful.
get-togethers, the different tribes, right
Like
up on
sacred
the.
ceremonies. Ooh,
No, it's more like just a gathering.
right.
Was their gathering place.
So
And I
I
found,
have Native American blood, but I believe ours is Cherokee.
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
we talked about that before.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, but that energy here, that native energy, uh, Francois, again, I'll share with you about him. He would be a 30 or $40,000 horse if he was sound.
right,
Obviously, he's not sound. That's why he's here. I
right.
went to Vermont to get him, and he was very well taken care of, but he could not compete. He was at a competition barn. It was a hunter jumper barn, and it just was not a good fit for him. So I went and got him, and he was kind of like Eeyore. He was very quiet, didn't have a lot of energy, sore, not a lot of confidence. So I bring him, back him up off the trailer, and the minute he got all 4 feet on the land, you could just see him. He just perked up, his head came up, and he was like, oh, and it was like, I am horse. That's all
Right.
I could hear.
Well, he was coming home, right? He was.
Ah.
It wasn't his purpose to be,
No.
a racehorse or a competition horse,
Or
right?
a hunter jumper, dressage, or anything. No.
Yeah, it
And
was.
you could just see him just get big and strong, and his head up, and started like prancing around. And I was just like, oh my God, that was the most dramatic change,
Improvement. Right.
improvement I saw from a horse. But I've seen it with others. It's just not like, whoa. But that's because he's a shaman. He's
Yeah.
so open to energy that he just felt it immediately. So
That's beautiful.
the land is here to heal. I've always felt that. I have a friend that describes it as a soft place to land.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, yep, yep. So that's just to kind of give you a feeling
Right.
of what this has to offer. And then with Jew, I mean, I have obviously the love for the animals and the land, and the passion for what we want to do. And then Jew has all of she's the brains. Jew's the brains, I'm the brawn. I don't know.
Right, right.
That's like
No,
the yin and
the
the yang.
masculine, the feminine, right?
Yeah,
The yin, the yang. It's like one's the doer and the other one's the creator.
it's just so perfect. And then we just laugh, and we just enjoy each other so much
Yeah,
too.
it's fun. It's like really
Yeah,
having, enjoy it.
yeah.
It's
We'll try. I just feel I'm just beaming because I'm like, oh, I helped bring the two of them together. And I don't know how I knew, but I knew the moment I heard it was the way you talked about your vision, Connie, and how, you were like stuck. You're like, boy, I've got this big vision, but I just don't know how to implement it. I don't know how to create it. I don't know how to make it happen. And I thought, well, I know somebody that knows how to make it happen, but doesn't have the ranch, doesn't have the means, doesn't have the horses. And and so I just thought, here we go. Here's a match made in heaven.
and interesting is, I mean, I've been quite around in America, right? So I've been in Florida, Texas, Massachusetts. I mean, everywhere. But it was always New York that I felt drawn to.
Mm.
It was like, back in the time, I think I traveled every year to New York for 10 years, at least once a year.
Really?
Yeah. I always told my parents were like, oh, now you're going again. It's like, I need it. And whenever I landed, it's like, I'm home. I had
Mm.
this, innate feeling of I'm home now, right?
Wow.
But obviously with the life here and the kids and everything. So I knew one day I'll be living in America, and it'll be New York, and I will be doing, mission work in that sense.
Wow.
So yes,
Yep.
we found each other, right?
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
it's just beautiful. So we're at an hour here. So we're going to go ahead and cinch this up. And Connie, make sure you send me your email address.
Yes, definitely. Yep.
And one of you, I don't know who has a PayPal me link, but if we could attach a PayPal me link, or if you want to do a GoFundMe, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna set up a GoFundMe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do it
Yeah.
today so I can post it.
Oh,
So
it's
I can.
actually ready. I just have to verify it with my phone. I haven't done that, but I set it up already. Yeah.
So just send me the link and we'll link it underneath the video. And even if nobody can monetarily support the vision, they might have skills or vacation time where in the future, once you're settled and you're operating up and operating, they might say, hey, can I come and stay for a week and volunteer my time? And maybe by then you can get a tiny house for you know, because if you're going to run a big ranch or a big farm, you're going to need farm hands, right?
Yes,
So, you know, maybe by then you'll have maybe, even if it's camping, you know, bring your camper, bring a tent,
That's so
whatever,
huge right now, the camping, the glamping.
right?
But the camping, definitely, yes. Something that I've actually been thinking a lot about. And we have a good amount of land that people could be able to just pull up, hook up, and yeah, and stay.
Yeah,
So
we will
Maybe
need
even have,
labor, right? I mean, in the beginning, we're gonna have a lot of building to do, you know.
there's a lot of infrastructure we have
Yeah,
to
so we will
lot,
need labor, right? So any,
absolutely.
you know, whoever wants to spend 2 weeks there and, you know,
Yep.
dig holes and, you know, build
right? Somebody
stuff.
will build it, right?
Come,
Build it and they will
join.
come. Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody knows how to swing a
Absolutely.
hammer, come on down and spend a week with us, you know. You'll be able to be in beautiful Native American country, uh, you know, and it just sounds like heaven on earth to me. So you can count me in. I'll be there.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I can't wait.
And my son, he's a Virgo. He loves to work. He's a workhorse. He loves to work, and he looks for things to do. Like he doesn't like to sit still. He's a hard little worker, and he loves animals. So, you know, we'll
Yeah,
come and
that's when I
stay.
include children with the building, you know. I want them to go back to the roots, right? Not on being on the phone and TikTok like all day, you know.
Right.
Go
Well,
dig
and
some
garden.
holes.
You know, build, you plant your own food. Become
Oh, definitely
self-sustainable.
vegetables,
Yep.
flowers, and yeah. I mean,
Right.
I got so many
Everything
ideas.
they're everything they're not learning in school that they need to
Exactly.
know to survive.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
Exactly. Right.
Right.
yeah, absolutely. Oh,
So
so
thank
exciting.
thank you so much, Connie, for coming on today. We want to reserve the right to bring you back again in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Especially if you guys make some headway and you want to make announcements or talk about, you know, we were here and now we're here and we're trying to get there or whatever, you know. You're I would like to reserve the right to invite you again in the future, and you guys can talk about your mission.
The progress,
Absolutely.
right?
That's great.
All right. So I love you. I'm
Love
going
you.
to say bye now. We're going to end this podcast. We like to keep it nice and around an hour so that people don't get tired talking to us. And I love you both.
Love
Love you
you.
Deeply.
too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.